Coming up at 11, friends, family, and fellow officers begin saying a final farewell to a London police officer.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The family of London police officer Logan Medlock received friends and fellow officers from across the country at Corinth Baptist Church tonight. Officer Medlock was on duty early Sunday morning when police say he was involved in a crash that was caused by a drunk driver. WYMT's Olivia Calfee spoke with first responders and some of Officer Medlock's friends about how they are remembering him.
Medlock was a great person. Very kind and caring. He'd give the shirt off his back for anybody.
Officer Medlock will be remembered for his kind heart and honored by all who knew him and many who didn't. First responders from across the country showed up to pay their respect.
I've made too many of these funerals, and when one family hurts, the whole community hurts, and every officer hurts.
Officers say when a tragedy happens, they all come together, and that is what they will continue to do.
You know, this is a sad day for us. This is not something we ever want to see again. I hope today's the last time we ever see this. And it's tough. It's tough on all of us. But we have a job to do, and we have to continue to do that job even as we grieve.
Medlock's friends say the time they had with him will be cherished forever.
There are going to forever be memories with Logan. It would truly be hard to say we didn't make a lifetime worth of memories together.
And now they hope to be the kind of friend to other people that Logan was to them.
That's what I want to remember him as, is that humble friend that regardless when you needed him, he was always there. And I think that's something that we can apply and try to keep that memory alive and be those friends like Logan was for us.
Trying to be more like their friend Logan Medlock until they see him again.
You know, I know today that Logan wanted to make the world a better place, and he certainly did that. He loved the Lord, and I know we're going to see him again one day.
Remembering Officer Medlock for his honorable character, love for others, and passion for service. In Laurel County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Officer Medlock's funeral will be tomorrow at noon at Corinth Baptist Church in London. A procession will follow around 1:30. That will end at Locust Grove Cemetery, where Officer Medlock will be laid to rest. We plan to share a live stream of the funeral service on our Facebook page.
Well, throughout the region today, it was a rather warm one. We were well above average on those high temperatures, nearly 10 degrees above average in many spots. We had some warm air throughout the mountains today. Look at those highs as we went through the day. 75, the high water mark, Jackson, Somerset, and Monticello into the lower 70s, just a couple degrees cooler in many other spots. Middlesboro was close at 74, and we continue to see temperatures slowly drop tonight. Some spots still in the 60s. How about low to mid 50s elsewhere this evening? We're all clear, not just here, but all around the eastern third of the nation. Nothing to worry about in terms of any kind of rainfall over the next 24 hours or so. Upper 40s, mostly clear tonight with those calm winds, but those winds won't stay calm for long. The details on when we could see a return to some rather gusty, breezy conditions, that's up in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thanks. An eastern Kentucky native is dead following a plane crash in Harlan County. 55-year-old Dr. David Sanford was found dead following the crash south of the Tucker Guthrie Memorial Airport just outside of Harlan. Kentucky State Police say first responders rushed to the scene once people in the area reported hearing loud noises.
A short time later, a small plane was discovered, and at that time we began responding to the airport.
The Federal Aviation Administration will be investigating how that crash happened. There was dense fog in the area at the time, but it's unclear if that played a role. We are told Dr. Sanford was from Middlesboro, but living in Knoxville. Tonight, students at UK came together in memory of a nursing student killed in a crowd surge in South Korea last weekend. Ann Jiski was studying abroad and attended a popular Halloween event when the crowd rushed into a narrow alley. 150 people were killed in what is being called the country's worst disaster in years. Early, unexcused in-person voting is underway in Kentucky. We talked to voters in Perry County who say they chose to vote early for convenience. They say it just took them about 5 minutes to vote from start to finish.
Just because I always do. I mean, there's people in there I want to keep in there, and there's some that I really don't want to keep in there.
You still have time to vote early tomorrow and Saturday. If you live in Perry County, you can cast your vote at the courthouse. In Martin County, candidates and voters came together for a forum in the fiscal courtroom tonight to hear from the county's write-in judge executive candidates. WYMT's Jordan Mullins was there.
Following the resignation of former Martin County Judge Executive Colby Kirk, Governor Andy Beshear appointed an interim to take his place.
We have had a judge executive recently resign and take on a new position, and that created an opening. So our governor has appointed a judge as interim, but now it's time for us to let the people decide on who they want.
On Thursday evening, folks gathered to hear from the candidates in a race that will make history.
It will be the first time that we will actually elect our county judge executive by a write-in vote. So yeah, we're making history.
And decide for themselves who will best lead their county.
We wanted to bring these forums back, that way everybody would have a chance to not only pose some of their own questions, but to hear the questions that I have. That way they can decide on who is the right choice.
With absentee and early voting already underway, more than 300 Martin Countyans have already voted.
We had 6-day excused voting for someone if they weren't going to be in town on election day. And we had 150 people vote, and today we had 176.
And others are encouraged to come out and take part in the historic race. In Martin County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Martin County Clerk Susie Skiles added that early voting at the clerk's office will be Friday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. You can also call the clerk's office to find one of the 4 voting centers open 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Election Day. Well, during his Team Kentucky update today, Governor Andy Beshear announced more than $84 million in grants have been approved for flood victims under the FEMA Individuals and Households program. More than $55 million has been approved under the U.S. Small Business Association. The Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund has raised more than $10.5 million. More than 39,000 donors have pitched in to reach that total. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is still working to clear streams of debris and transport damaged vehicles found in public rights-of-way. While the deadline for the debris collection for residents was November 1st, community drop-off sites where residents can take eligible debris on their own will remain open until at least November 14th. Governor Beshear said more than 230 people are still being housed at Kentucky state parks following the July flood. There are 609 folks being housed in travel trailers right now. In total, there are 311 travel trailers in 10 locations. Magoffin County is preparing for a new business to call its industrial park home. Emerald Energy will be relocating from Prestonsburg to the new industrial park, bringing more than 20 jobs with a competitive wage to the Salyersville area. Officials say it is a move forward for the entire region and a catalyst for future site growth.
Great potential for everything here in Magoffin County. We can expand our industrial site now maybe and get more area for more businesses to come in. And with this business coming in, and I'm sure they're going to be successful, it just means everything in the world to us.
The business is expected to be planted on site by 2025. Coming up on Mountain News 11, Breeders' Cup festivities are taking over the city of Lexington. We'll show you what's happening downtown.
And keeping it clear after the sun's gone down tonight, but what about as we head into the weekend? Those details are on the way after this.
You know what this sunrise could use? Some savory with a hint of sweet. Made